Hey guys, I'm going to give you a crash course on how to transfer a pattern you drafted by hand or when you bought at the store into CLO. So taking a flat paper pattern and getting it into CLO. I also use this method on garments that are sewn that I want to knock off. I will take pictures of the garments and just kind of trace them as if they were like flat pattern paper. But anyways, I have a pattern, I'm going to trace it, and this is how you do it. It's gonna be a crash course for people who've really never even used CLO before actually. So what you wanna do is take photographs of your pattern pieces and make sure you lay a ruler in your photograph. You want to hold your camera. I use my phone, and I don't have my phone here with me, but when I hold my phone, I make sure I hold it so the camera is like straight up and down over the flat pattern that has the ruler laying on it. I do not recommend taking photos at an angle because you'll get like a warped photo. So you really want to make sure that your camera lens is like, directly straight parallel over the paper you're taking a picture of. You have to have that ruler. So you collect all those photos. I think it's best to save as JPEGs, PNGs, nothing too big if possible. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna open the photos and then we're just gonna trace it in CLO and draw our actual pattern pieces in CLO. To open the photo in CLO, it's a little weird. There might be a new way to do it, but the way I figured out is to actually draft a really big pattern piece, and then we're gonna use the photo almost like it's like a graphic artwork on the fabric, but it's not, it's a photo. But at least we have it open on the computer. And then at that point, we can use our pattern drafting pencil tool to go in and trace the shape and then just delete that initial piece of fabric with the like graphic art. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna make a big piece of fabric. So I'm gonna use this tool right over here. And I'm actually gonna change it to rectangle keyboard shortcut letter S. And I'm just gonna do a nice big square. Now, how big should I make that square? Actually, maybe real quick, what we should do is open up an avatar so we have a point of reference. So you probably don't know how to do that yet. So to do it, you are gonna use your library. You'll notice in CLO it has these tabs over here on the side. Maybe your library tab is already open, and CLO does come with a bunch of avatars. So I'm gonna double click avatar, some folders popped up. I always like to use version 2 because it's newer than version 1, and then just choose whichever model. I have lots of videos about how to change sizes if you guys want to dive deep, but for now I just want something open. Okay, oops. And then this is a toggle menu too, allowing you to view different parts of the avatar as well. You just turn them on or off if you want to see certain things, but again, that's kind of diving deep. Let's not worry about that right now. Okay, you can see my avatar shadow over here in the 2D window. This is where I do my flat pattern work. So this gives me a size of how big the fabric I need, right? So I'm gonna go ahead back to my rectangular fabric tool, and I'll probably make the fabric like as big as her. That should be more than enough. Okay, I have my fabric. Now I'm gonna use this tool to add graphic art on the fabric, which is gonna be the photograph I took. So I'm gonna go ahead and click it one time. When I click it once, a window pops up asking, hey, what artwork did you wanna put on it? My artwork today is the photograph I took of my pattern. There we are. And now it's like, well, where do you want it? I don't really care, so I'm just gonna click in the middle. Okay, cool, there it is. So what I'm gonna draft today is this panel. That's the shape I actually want right now. You can see my ruler is over here. So right now this photo is huge. It is not, like if I were to measure this ruler, it's normally 2 inches wide. Right now it's gonna be much bigger than that. So how do I fix this? I recommend drafting a pattern that is 2 inches wide, just like my ruler. So I'm gonna click this. I guess I could do it as long as the ruler too. How long is my ruler? I mean, I'm just gonna do a 2-inch box, but you could draft anything. So I'm gonna click actually I'm gonna go back to the rectangle. I'm gonna click one time this time. I'm not gonna click and drag. I'm gonna click once so a window pops up. And it defaulted to 19 inches. I'm gonna change it to 2 by 2. You could also do it the length of the ruler if you wanted, but 2 by 2 is fine for me. Okay. Right now is a really good time to learn some selection keyboard shortcuts. To select, you want to hit the letter A and it'll select an entire pattern piece, and then you can move it around. So I love hitting A. You can see this tool was highlighted. This is to select a pattern piece so you can move it. Okay, so my ruler is 2 inches wide, but clearly my ruler looks like it's almost 4 inches wide because it's much bigger. So I know this guy is 2 inches wide because I just drafted it. but I need to make this photo smaller so my ruler matches the size of that square. So in CLO, you will learn there's tons of tools, right? I don't want to click this tool again. Instead, I want to click this tool because there's a little white arrow. A lot of these tools have that little white arrow. That means it edits. So if you've already drawn something and you just want to change it, you want to use the tool with the white arrow in the corner. And that's perfect situation for this case. Because this is too big, I don't want to add a new photo. I just want to change the size of this photo. So I have to click this guy. I don't think there's a keyboard shortcut that I know of. I kind of wish there was. But anyways, you click it once. I can see it's selected because there's a yellow outline. And then in the middle, there's like a little dial to help you make it smaller. It's just kind of click and drag thing. I'm sort of eyeballing it. I don't know if it's the right size. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna switch to my selection tool, letter A, so I can go and select that square I drew, bring the square over. Another thing, if you guys don't know how to do this, is you wanna make sure you know how to zoom in CLO. So you wanna have a mouse with a scroll wheel, and the scroll wheel can help you zoom. Sometimes you get too far, it's very handy to know how to pan. So I'm pushing the button on my scroll wheel and that's helping me pan, but there are different user settings. So I would take a minute and figure out, do I know how to zoom? Can I pan? It'll make your life a lot easier. Okay, so I'm in the letter A selection tool. I'm kind of lining them up to my ruler. Ooh, it's really close. I think I'm happy. This is good. If I wasn't, I would go back to this tool and I would click and drag to make it bigger or smaller or whatever the case is. Get as close as you can, but don't go crazy, because after all your patterns are drawn, we're gonna have to true them up anyways, because probably we didn't draw the side seams the perfect length and we'll have to clean it up. And then you're probably gonna do a fitting and change it again. So don't be sloppy and messy, but don't go crazy and spend hours. Like, just get pretty close, I guess. Okay. Cool. So I like the shape of this photo at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to trace a brand new pattern piece. So I'm going to use this tool, but I'm going to change it so it's not rectangle. I'm going to change it to polygon. H is the keyboard shortcut for a new pattern. Okay, if you've done Adobe Illustrator or any other vector-based program, you are going to know how to use this tool. If you have never used a vector-based program, you're gonna hate learning it, I think. But there's a learning curve, I guess, but you can do it. For this demo, here we go. So here we go. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna trace my sew lines. I'm kind of lucky that it has sew lines. You do have the option, if your garment didn't have sew lines, you can trace the outside, and at the end, we can actually get rid of the seam allowance, and I'll try to remember to show you how to do that. But for now, just trace the sew lines. So to start, the way the vector tool works is that, think of like doing connect the dots. Like when you're a kid at a restaurant, they have that little game that you connect the dots and a picture comes. You're the dot master. You're the person drawing the dots and the lines will automatically connect. So that's really the mental framework you need to go in thinking when you're going to draw this, is like, you are the dot drawer. Somebody else is going to play the game and draw the picture from your dots. I don't know if that's helpful. Anyway, so I'm going to click one time. There is a dot. I made an anchor point. And you can see how the computer's like already connecting like a little preview line of wherever I put my next dot. Now the thing with this though, if I just keep clicking, I'm not gonna get curved lines. And sometimes you need curved lines. So to curve a line, you have to learn how to click and drag. You have to get that feel with your mouse. That's why you really do need a mouse. You cannot do this on the trackpad. So you wanna click, and as I'm clicking with my left mouse, I move my mouse, and then a curve will happen. So I'm gonna click one time. And you really don't want a lot of anchor points. That's kind of more intermediate. Really try to draw as little as possible, because to go fit this garment, if you have 100 anchor points, you have to then fit 100. So you really want to learn how to draw with less. So I want my next anchor point here, but I have that curved line. So I have two choices. I could try to draw a curve from here, or maybe I just do one anchor point in the middle. So I think, let's see, I guess I will try to draw it here and see how it goes. Okay, see how that blue handlebar came out? That's just a handlebar to kind of guide my curve. There we go. And if it's not perfect, we can go in and change it later. Okay, I'm happy. Now it gave me another handlebar thinking I want to have a symmetrical curve on the other side, but in this case I don't. So I want that blue handlebar to go away. So I'm just gonna click the point one time, and now I'm back to the non-curve tool. So I can click right here on the little dart point. I'm gonna click over here on the other dart point. Now I'm back to where I need a curve line. I think this time I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna click and drag and pull out my handlebar. So I have a lot of experience drawing with vector tools, so I might make it look kind of easy. It does take some practice. Ooh, I'm gonna say delete, because I actually don't want to click here and I don't want to start over from scratch. I think I'm just gonna draft this on the half. So now I'm gonna click right here and I'm gonna go up straight, and then I'm gonna click right on top where I started. Voila, I have a pattern piece. Yay! So I'm gonna select my pattern piece and move it. Keyboard shortcut, letter A. So I'm panning, click drag, and I'm moving it. I really don't need this anymore. I am done. I didn't show you guys what we're making. We're making this weird hood. It's like from a costume pattern. Okay, so now what I need to do, because this, now by the way, if you did need to get rid of seam allowance, you can select it and right click, let's see here. Offset pattern outline right there. So you have that option to extend it, you know, half an inch, and or actually you probably want to retract it because you have half-inch seam allowance you need to get rid of, or 5/8 inch you need to get rid of, and then you could type in whatever it is, 0.5 if it's half inch, or whatever, 0.625. Oh, I gotta check my math. Anyways, okay, I don't need to do that, so I'm actually gonna say cancel because I traced it on the sew line. Okay, so this is only half of my pattern, so I need to unfold it. And again, this is a crash course for people who don't really know CLO very well. So I'm gonna go back to a new selection tool that I love. I love A, but it selects the whole thing. I wanna select just my fold line. So right underneath the letter A is Z. You can see a tool popped up here. Okay, if I click and hold this, more tools come. It's just nice to memorize Z and A because we use them so much. I'm gonna click on the artboard one time so nothing is selected. It's all fresh and ready for me. And now I can click one time. Now this will only work between 2 anchor points. If you have like 50 or 10 or 3 anchor points here, you're not gonna be able to unfold it. So you'd wanna delete those anchor points. It can only be like top and bottom, little anchor point. Okay, it is selected. Now with CLO, it does matter where your mouse is. If my mouse is on the artboard, I'm gonna get a different menu of tools when I right click. But if I hover over the line that's selected, I'll get a different set of tools. So in CLO, you really have to be, cautious of where you put your mouse. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to unfold it. And I kind of want more than that too. I want to actually unfold and include sewing and make it a symmetric pattern. So that means any change I do to the side that's yellow is gonna happen to the side that's blue as well. So if I were to change the shape, see how it did it on both sides? That's kind of nice. I like that. Okay, so great. I have my pattern. Now also this guy, I drafted just one, but it said to cut 2, so I actually need 2 of them. So I'm also gonna select it with the letter A, help me select it. I'm gonna right click my mouse and my cursor's on top of the pattern. And again, I'm going to do clone symmetric pattern with sewing because I wanna, have it copy the sewing too. I'll just put it over here. Okay, so now if I make any changes to this guy that's yellow because I selected it, the blue selection will also change too. Watch, let's just test. I'm gonna hit Z, click on the bottom, move it, see how both of them changed. I'm gonna hit Command Z, edit, undo to go back. Okay, so this is gonna be a hood. This is the middle panel. Okay, so now maybe we should true it up real quick, okay? What gets sewn to what? Let's see here. Well, I know that this piece is gonna get sewn to this one, and I'm not really worried about truing it up because they're the same pattern piece, so they're definitely the same length, so that's nice. Same with this neck piece, he's also gonna get sewn here. This is not gonna get sewn, this over here, I'm holding shift to select 2 segments. This is not getting sewn to anything, it's gonna be left open, so it'll just be hemmed closed, so I don't need to worry about matching this guy up with anything. This line, and this line, they are all going to get sewn to our panel, okay? And I believe this is the top and then this is the neck part. So when I click all three of those, when you click one, it tells you how long it is. Looks like it's 7.4 inches. But if I hold shift, it does the math for me. Do you see under my cursor? It's 16 point something. I have my cursor kind of large for these videos. 16.4. Right now it's 16.4 inches. Okay, it's gonna get sewn to this, plus this, plus this. How long are you? Ooh, you're way long. You're 22. So I might have did something wrong when I traced it, but now's a great time to go in and true it up. So I have to decide, maybe I go back to my pattern and actually just measure it. Which one is it? Is it 16 inches or is it 22 inches? And then make a decision. I think I'm gonna stick with 16, or maybe I go in the middle, but I think I'm gonna go for 16.4. So now we have to change this guy to be 16.4. You kind of get to decide. I think I'm kind of lucky because this is like a really long thing here. So maybe I can actually pick this anchor point, hold shift, and then just click and drag and bring it up and make it shorter. Maybe I don't need this anchor point. Instead, if I delete it, it'll become a straight line. But if I right click, I can actually say convert to a curve point. Now I have this line and this one. Are we closer to 16.4? Let's see. Oops, what did it say? Oh, it says it's 19 inches. Maybe I do make this one longer. I'm gonna hold this, hold this, hold this. Maybe I actually make this 3 inches longer. So to make it 3 inches longer, what I can do is I can right click and add 3 inches. So I'll say right click and change my length. Right now it's 3.7, I'm gonna add 3. So let's make it 6. But we have some choices. Where do we want the length to come? This from the direction of the start point? No, because that's a weird shape. The end or both? Our case, we want it at the end. We want it to go longer. That's what we're trying to do. So I love that they gave us that preview of how they're gonna change the line length and make sure we're happy. So I'll say, okay. And then same with this guy. I feel like he should also just be 3 inches longer as well because he was kind of straight. So I can click and drag and move it, or I could right click as well. Okay, so now we are at, let's hold shift. Looks like he's like 13. Oh, 12.6, 12.7, I guess. And wait, let me try that again. Hold shift, 19, there we go, 19.4. Hold shift, 19.3. So, so maybe what I could do is make this guy be 19.4. I could right click and change the length again. If I want to, maybe I just make it like 0.6, get rid of that 0.1 so that they're the same. And I think I want to change it to end. Okay. I'll bring this guy up just manually. Okay, I think I'm good. They should be the same length. Now we're close enough. Okay, so now you guys have to learn how to sew. If you don't know how to sew, maybe what we should do actually before sewing it, this helps me sew things, is place the garments on the model as well. So down here you have some views. This is to look at the 3D window. This one's to look at the 2D window, and this one's to look at both. So we definitely want to make sure the both one is open. You want to make sure you opened an avatar as well. And okay, next we're going to place the fabric on the avatar. I'm going to switch to the letter A, and I'm going to select this square. This was my 2-inch square. I don't need it anymore, so I'll delete it. Let's get him out of here. Okay, so to place it on the avatar, you can see right now they're just floating in outer space, really based on where I drew them. We are going to turn on what's called arrangement points. That's these blue dots. Shift F is the keyboard shortcut. And this is just like a smart tool to help us figure out how this goes on the avatar. I'm going to select my pattern piece. Also, I like to have all my pattern pieces the correct direction. If you trace this guy and he's actually at an angle, you really want to take it and find that little dot at the top and rotate it so that the grain line is going straight up and down. Okay, that's very helpful too. So, and then shoot, I might have to reset this grain line because of this guy. Let's see here. Oh, here, I'll select these pieces. I might select all of them. And I'm going to right click. I'm going to say reset 2D arrangement. Okay, that way now it has them set the way that I have them on the board. Okay, so now I'm going to click this guy, and I know it goes on the side of her face. Luckily, there's a blue dot there. And the blue dot, it centers in the middle of the pattern, not like the top or bottom. So I guess the middle of the pattern is basically in the middle of her head. So I'm just gonna click that blue dot. I like how they're giving me a preview. Like, yeah, that's basically where I want it. So I'm gonna click one time. Okay, and if you can't get it perfect, there is a gizmo to move it. It's kind of a learning curve, but once you figure it out, you're good. I look for these lines. See how there's like an arrow, the red one? I try to click that red arrow if I'm trying to move it one way. Also, what helps me is my view. Sometimes I get kind of lost in my view. So you want to just reset it sometimes, and you'll use the numbers on your keypad. So number 2 is just get you back straight in front. And that's a good time to then switch to like one of these tools because you're looking straight in front. You're not at a weird angle. That can be really helpful as well. So 2, 3, 4, 5, like these are all just different views, all the numbers. 2's obviously the one to remember, but any of the numbers will kind of get you reset. Okay, cool. So that one's set. Now I'm going to select the other guy. I'm still in the selection tool, so I didn't have to hit the letter A. And I think maybe this dot will be good, or should I do this one? I don't know. I think this one will be good. And you know, if I want to rotate it, I can do that. But sometimes it's really smart and you don't even have to. We'll see if this is going to work or not. Okay, so this guy's going to have to get curved. Maybe one of the other arrangement points would have helped, but I'm just going to move forward. Okay, so now I have to sew this thing together. And we have some sewing tutorials you'll probably want to watch, but here's the crash course. I like to sew on the 2D side. They do have the sewing tools on the 3D side if it's easier for you to sew in the 3D window. That's up to you. One thing I know, we have to get those dart legs closed. Those are going to need to be sewn shut. So I'll try the 3D window. Maybe just to start with, the segment's kind of easy. The segment is just you click one time and it selects a segment, and then you click one time to a different segment and it'll sew it together. So let's try that one. So if I hover here, oops, I have to click it. There we go. Do you notice the sewing machine on top? It has that white arrow. We can use that to go change our sewing later. But just to initially draw it, we'll use the one below. Okay, so do you see when I hover over it, it looks like it's selected, and it's only selecting, you know, 2 dots in the line in between, one segment. That's how this guy kind of works. So I'm gonna click this bottom one. Yes, I want that one selected. And then when I go up to the top, I can easily just click the other one. So that's working out good. I want to show something, bring something to your attention. On the 2D side, you see some notches. That's saying, okay, when you sew it together, you're gonna line the 2 bottom parts together and sew towards the top. If your notch is like this, if it's twisted, whoops, here, I'm gonna edit undo, let's get this. If I click here and then I somehow have my notch starting in the opposite direction, it's gonna be twisted when it sews and look really funky. So that's a big learning curve, is that you wanna make sure the little notches are going the right way. You can always right click to, and there's, I'm gonna switch to the selection tool Z. I know when you, let me see if that worked. Okay, if I go, okay, we have to hit the edit sewing tool. There we go. If you select that and then right click, you can reverse your sewing if it was like twisted. In this case, I just twisted it, so I need to actually reverse it again. Anyways, okay, so those dart legs are sewn, and that's just the segment sewing tool. Again, it's also over here on the left side too. Now this guy, this is another way to sew. So you can start and stop basically. So maybe I'll use it on the same spot. So I'm gonna hit my edit sewing tool, I'll select it, I'll delete it. So the other one, the free sewing tool, you click 2 times on each seam. The segment sewing, you just clicked once and it was selected. This one, you click where you wanna start. So I click once, and then you click where you wanna stop. Click. That's the first line. Then for the second one where you get sewn to, you get to click where you start, and then you click where you want to end. There. So I think in this particular case for the dart, the segment sewing is probably more efficient, but it's good to learn both of them. Okay. What do I do if I want to sew this line and this one to this one? So I want to sew 2 lines, 2 segments to 1 segment. Okay, it's getting a little more complicated. So we have a tool, M to N, okay? So basically they're saying you know, group M is going to get sewn to group N. So when you have multiple segments, you would use this. You can use either the segment tool where you just click one time on the segments, or you can also do this grouping thing with the free sewing as well. Okay, so again, sewing, there's a little bit of learning. Okay, I think I'm gonna try the free sewing one. And I'm gonna click, and it does have directions. You see by my cursor, they kind of remind you how to use it. I'm gonna click to begin the first group, which they just named the letter M. So I'm gonna click right here to start. Oops, I went the wrong way. I don't wanna go that way. Oh dear. Here, I'm gonna get out. I hit edit undo. I'm gonna click one time. There we go. And I'm gonna go this way, going down, and I'm gonna stop sewing here. But that's not the end of my group. I also want this part to be part of the group. So I'm gonna click one time, and I'm gonna go down to the bottom. Click. Okay, that is the end of my first group that I want sewn to something else. So I can hit enter. My keyboard, it's return. Now I'm gonna go click on what they call group N, the other group, which is gonna be, for me, this pattern piece. So I'll click right here. Oh, there comes the stitch lines. And I'm gonna go all the way down, and then I'll click right here because that's where I want it to stop. Okay, there we go. And then you know what? I'm done. I only have that one long line, so I can hit return. Okay, so there we go. This is how it's gonna be sewn together. You can see the little stitch lines and everything. Cool. Okay, so this is a hood. Let's see if it fits. How do we see if it fits? We are gonna add gravity. We're gonna simulate. That's this button here, but I recommend not hitting it. Instead, always use spacebar, which is a keyboard shortcut. I've had delay issues with this where it'll say it's simulate, it's not, because simulation uses a lot more of your computer's memory. The keyboard, for some reason, connects to the software a little bit better. So, I'm gonna hit the keyboard, which is the same as clicking this button. So keyboard, okay, yay, it got sewn together and it fell off on the ground. I'm still in simulation mode, so I have this like little hand where I can kind of lift it up and stuff. Okay, I'm actually gonna hit edit undo a couple times because I want it back up on her. Okay, so it fell off her head. That's fine because I don't have anything else sewn to it. So there are some tricks that we can do. What should I do? What I could do is like put a pin in it to keep it from falling. So let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, no. I'm like, where are they? Okay, here we go. Pin. So I can do a box shape or lasso shape. I guess let's do a little box shape. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to hit the letter A and click on where I want the pin to be. I think I'm gonna try to pin it like right here. And so it'll just like fight gravity. So I can see a little blue dot right here on my 2D pattern piece of where I clicked on the 3D. And I think it's easier to use the pins on the 2D. So holding this down, pin box, I'm just gonna click and drag. So these little triangles have pins in them now. So it's like they're pinned in midair and gravity cannot make them fall. So now I can hit spacebar. Hey, there we go. Is it so? Oh no, I think I sewed it wrong. Why is that guy? Let's take a look. Yeah, I think, did I or no? I'm trying to get, what's going on here? I'm like, why are you gray? Are you white? What's going on here? I'm just trying to see why you are gray. Are you white underneath? Yeah, okay, edit undo. What did I just do? I hit simulation again. Okay, so my pattern, I guess I just sewed it backwards or upside down or something. Okay, let's see if I can get this back on her. I'm gonna actually select it all and I'm gonna right click and say reset 3D arrangement. There we go. And then I'll do spacebar again. Okay, so it looks like my fabric got twisted somehow. I'm gonna hit spacebar to get out of simulation because it just saves memory and then gravity's gone. And I'm gonna select just this pattern piece. I'm gonna right click and we can flip normal. So it just flipped it the other way. So there we go, my problem is solved. That's so strange that happened, but whatever. Okay, so cool, I have the hood on her. Oh, you know what else I need to sew? I forgot to sew the neck part. Let's do that. I think I'm gonna do segment here, bottom, and then actually the top is supposed to be sewn as well, right? Yeah, there we go. Oh dear. Okay, now I'm gonna hit spacebar and I'm actually gonna delete those pins. So let's get these pins. Oh, I'm gonna actually just right click on them. I'll switch to Z and I'm gonna right click. Let's see here. Maybe I'll switch to A. Let's see. No, remove. Maybe we'll go to the pin tool. Edit tool, there we go. Okay, right click. I'm gonna try it on this one. Right click, there we go. Delete all pins, I don't need them anymore. At least I don't think I do. Okay, spacebar, and it fell off. Okay, so spacebar again, select all. I hit Command A. I'm gonna hit the letter A tool for selection. I'm gonna say reset 3D. Ooh, what happened here? Okay. Hey, only that one guy is there now. Okay, that's strange. Okay. Oh, maybe I didn't have them all selected. Okay, let's select all. There we go, right click, reset 3D. There we go, that makes more sense. And then this guy right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and right click and say flip normal. I guess I just put it on backwards for some reason. And okay, let's see here. What happens if I hit spacebar? Okay, actually it's fine. I hit spacebar and I'm gonna go and click and try to put it on over her head again. There we go. There we go. Hey, no pins, and it's on her. Okay, getting it on the model, it is kind of a learning curve. So it looks kind of small and tight, so maybe I would like resize it or just, you know, kind of play with this pattern a little bit as well. But you kind of get the idea. This is a crash course, you guys, for tracing patterns, putting it on the avatar, sewing it up. We actually have lots of videos that dive deeper and give you guys more information, but I'm gonna cut it here. Good luck, reach out, ask questions, come to my office hours, and looking forward to seeing how this goes for you.